Joan Miró once said that his name defined his role as an artist. A Miró, in the Catalan language, is a person that is obsessively looking at and observing things. Likewise, although I don't share his surname, I'm also a Mirona, which would be the feminine gender equivalent of it. My interest in prehistoric art dates back to my childhood in a small village north of Barcelona. The village is in a valley, surrounded by mountains, caves, and petroglyphs. However, it was the privilege of meeting archaeologists who welcomed me to their excavations during the last 15 years that deepened my involvement with archaeology. I was allowed to enter the world of science as a Mirona, and a new journey started for me. Archaeologists are to me a different form of artist. Their way of working is similar to that of the rain and the wind. They engage with large mounds and they chisel into them until they extract the buried items. Watching them work and listening to the results of their research has provided me with new tools for my own work. This is Cappadocia in Turkey. Millions of years of rain and wind carving the volcanic tuff produce these incredible shapes. They bring to mind Michelangelo's quote saying that his marble slaves were already there inside the block. He only had to free them from the marble. The rain and the wind seem to be doing the same thing here. Mankind has also had a go at the volcanic tuff, hewing out churches and underground cities using a similar tool. Almost 100 kilometers east of Cappadocia, there is Ashiklihoyuk, a Neolithic settlement dating from 10,300 years ago, where archaeologists have been excavating for the last 30 years. The images in the screen are rock formations made of volcanic tuff and spread around the living quarters of Ashiklihoyuk. Some of these rocks resemble breasts, and those attached to the ground look like fetuses waiting peacefully to complete the gestation period. It is fascinating how the rain and the wind have carved the blocks of volcanic tuff and turned them into sculptures. Some human has carved a false door shape into one of the rocks, as if to suggest that there is something dueling inside the solid rock. My residencies in Ashikli allowed me to spend many hours walking over and staring at all those dormant rocks, making notes, drawing, and filming. Here you can see the only human-like figurine found in Ashikli. It is 3.41 centimeters tall and made of clay. Next to it, I have placed Picasso's painting done in 1919. Recently, I was admiring this Nature Morte by Picasso with artist Jane Sausmarez, and she stressed the importance of the edges in the painting. How Picasso deformed the plate supporting the apples to give perhaps a bigger importance to the mouth of the jar. Also, the edge of the right-hand side of the jug seems to be melting into the background. The apples could be made of flesh. The table is sliding towards the left. The final result gives the viewer a strong sense of female sensuality. In my view, Ashikli's figurine is distorting the piece of clay to create the same effect. It has only one breast, if it is a breast. The breast is as big as the head. One side has a clear curve indicating perhaps femininity, but the back is straight, no buttocks. The little blob at the bottom could indicate genitalia or pregnancy. It is all about altering the shape. The final result gives the viewer a similar reading to Picasso's piece. The structure is the shape. Here it is the sun that is doing the drawing. The beam of light enters the interior from the roof and travels from the western wall across the floor and up the eastern wall. Slowly, shapes come and transform themselves into geometric forms. It all happens very slowly. Often, the wind and the clouds get in the way and the shape disappears, or it flickers, producing a variety of soft shapes. I call it Neolithic Cinema. They are clear drawings offering many possibilities. The interior of the home is the canvas. It would be a sacrilege to try to reproduce them on a paper or canvas. They would be something else. And again, the sun is the main character here. Shadows must have been very important in Neolithic times. The height of the sun and the movement of the earth will draw different black shapes attached to an object. Shapes are drawn everywhere outside and inside the Neolithic homes. By observing these shapes, we can easily know what season we are in. The gradual progression of the drawing becomes apparent if we were to stand at a particular spot and have the patience to observe the journey of the movement of the black shape. The beam of light inside a Neolithic home, besides facilitating an accurate sun clock, also provides a rectangular screen that can be used for over 30 minutes to perform a puppet show. Each house has its own screen, offering endless possibilities for teaching and entertainment. You can see several examples of the puppet shows I perform with the help of the archaeological team on site. In the painting that initiated Cubism in 1907, Picasso took Cézanne's analysis of geometric shapes further and fragmented the forms into small cubes. Circles and squares inhabited Picasso's, Braque's, and other Cubist painters' minds, enabling them to develop a better understanding of space on a two-dimensional surface. In Ashiklihoyuk, the older houses in the settlement were round, but a few hundred years later they became square. Ever since I saw this transition in the shape of the houses, I have been puzzled by it. What were the implications of this transition? Perhaps, like Cubism, the people of Ashikli were developing a new way of understanding space. During my many visits to prehistoric settlements, my skills as a Mirona, guided by the conversations with the archaeologists, have had a powerful effect. They provided me with new ways of looking, shedding new light on my understanding of drawing. The theories I had acquired at art college seem insufficient. At present, I'm trying to develop these new concepts to the limits of my capacity. Thank you very much.